Shove it, man! Shove It Squad, it comes around once a month, and it's not that thing that causes you and your girl to almost kill each other. No, it's quite the opposite in fact, and it spreads joy and happiness, and it makes your girl sing. It's Rinka King. On the last video, Steiner and Abyss won the tag titles, and their Jeff Jarrett faction was given the name RDX. I asked you, the Hawkamaniacs, what you think RDX should stand for, and it was never explained on the Rinka King show. Well, congratulations to Mike Bottomless Pit Dunham, who wins with my favourite comment suggestion. From now on, until the end of time, this faction will be known as Random Dudes Extreme. You, young man, are a very lucky little guy. You win a hawk feather, a punch to the gut, and an all-expenses-paid-for trip to Barrow-in-Furness. Shut the front door! I think this name fits them the best because I was already calling them the world's most random faction. I know a lot of you wanted Rubbish to Generation X to win the poll, and you can all moan and complain in the comments section, but shut up or I'll smack you all. To quote Marvin Gaye, let's get it on. Well, here's a surprise. This show starts out with Shira. No, not that Shira. This one's been on Rinka King for 14 episodes and has done absolutely nothing but carry a briefcase for Chris Adonis. I'm not even exaggerating, unfortunately. But apparently he's having his first match here, and he's taking on Mahabali Shera. So it's Vera versus Shira. We find out pretty quickly why Shira hasn't had any matches on this show, because he's not very good. Mahabali Shera puts him away in about 30 seconds with the Vera bomb. He then challenges Chris Adonis to a fight, who runs away like a little girl. Backstage, the authority figures are talking to a lawyer when Random Dudes Extreme interrupt the meeting. Jarrett says that they have all the gold and all the power. The cricket guy then says something and Jarrett seems a bit upset. Backstage, two 8-year-old Indian boys are sitting on the bench. One is obese and one is little. There's super dramatic music playing and his voice is so high. He says he's the #1 wrestler on Rinka King. I can't cope, I love this show.
वजह मेरे दुश्मनों का नसीब वैसे ज्वाला तो मेरे से धोखे से जीत गया लेकिन हाँ बाकी का फाइट रहा मेरा नसीब लेकिन अब बस only जीतना.
Nick Dinsmore is out for a match next and he's teaming up with TNT, who is an obese version of Savio Vega. What a team these two make. Have you ever seen two less fitting people hanging around together? They are taking on two fake Indian looking strongmen from Family Guy. You have to hear this entrance music. Just listen to it. I think the commentary team say that they're lorry drivers, I might be wrong. Nick Dinsmore starts the match out by popping some pills because everyone involved with TNA is on drugs. Savio and Dinsmore keep cheating. This isn't very good, unfortunately. The two fake Indian strongmen only know how to do a clothesline. I'm guessing these guys aren't in NXT or AEW at the moment. They do a double tag team move on Savio Vega. I have no idea what it was. It was a battering ram maneuver or something. It's over. Bad match. The legal meeting carries on backstage. Jeff Jarrett tells a joke and they all burst out laughing and it ends. I have no idea what's going on this show. The fake badass Undertaker comes out next and he's taking on Roscoe Jackson. Give me a break. We've seen this match about 5 times. Can't he go and beat up the Indian Big Boss Man or somebody different? The Undertaker 2.0 dominates the match and hits a rock bottom. He then carries on his dominance with a butterfly suplex. Cowboy Trevor Murdoch tries to fight back, but he can't do much because he's a jobber. The Undertaker then does a leg drop and a couple of corner shots. He then misses a splash in the corner, and the Cowboy finally takes him off his feet with a suplex. Jackson then hits a crossbody from the top but can't put the Undertaker away. This is a really good match, to be fair. They start brawling on the outside and then Taker hits a big boot. He then tries to bring a plate into the ring and the Cowboy rolls him up for the free. Wasn't expecting that. After the match, Taker hits him with it and carries on the beatdown. Someone in the comments asked for the Cowboy to get a push. Maybe this is the starter one. Back in the legal meeting, Jeff Jarrett says once again they have all the power because they have all the belts. I swear this was a storyline in TNA at some point, God knows when. Somewhere else backstage, the little interview man asks Matt Morgan who he thinks will be in control of Rinka King at the end of the night. Morgan says he doesn't know, but he does know that he's getting a rematch for his world title against Magnus. The cricket guy is out next. His theme music is like death. It's just his name over and over again. He brings out Jeff Jarrett and his lawyer. The cricket guy is basically the mediator, even though he's not neutral because he tried to beat people up with a cricket wicket last week. You'd think they could give him a bat instead. He brings out Jazzy Lahoria and his lawyer next. It's a power struggle storyline once again, but I don't see how Jarrett has any right to owning the company just because some of his wrestlers have the belts. It sounds like they're going to have a match to decide who will take over Rinka King. It's winner takes all. Winner, winner takes all. They point to the Titantron and a lorry is shown driving a fully erected cage around. Why is the cage already set up on the lorry? Jeff Jarrett doesn't seem too happy about the match and then DDTs his lawyer. That's one episode down. Random Dudes Extreme come out to start the next show. The lawyer is still apparently employed by them, but he's in a neck brace now. All the other guys in this group seem irrelevant. The camera is on Jarrett 90% of the time. Jeff says that they're going to be adding a 5th member of RDX tonight. I thought the Indian Big Boss Man was a member. They hype up the multi-man cage match that will be happening. Jarrett then says it's time to introduce the 5th member. And it's the Indian Big Boss Man. Why was this announced like it was a surprise? He's been with them for about 5 shows now. Apparently he's going to have his first match on Ring Ka King, and he'll be taking on Puma, who is one of the Mumbai Cats. He wins pretty quickly with the Boss Man Slam. There's not much to say. For those of you who may have forgotten at this point, Magnus is still the world champion, not that we'd know it. Alyssa Flash is out next to take on Angelina Love, who's not allowed to shake her ass on the ropes. Despite that, she's still incredibly popular with the Indian fans. Angelina Love wins with the lights out, and the ring announcer says your winner of the match is the very lovable Angelina Love. The leather man then comes out to give her a rose. She seems quite taken with him. The midget then comes out dragging a bear that's much bigger than he is. Unfortunately, this bear isn't from the leather man and it seems to be from the midget. The midget then kisses her hand and starts dancing. Angelina Love looks very confused. Which man will she pick? Then she leaves. Jazzy Lahoria is naming his team for the cage match. It sounds like it'll be Matt Morgan, Mahabali Shera, Bulldog Hart and Chavo, but I think there's a member missing. The heavyweight title is on the line next. Matt Morgan, who's been nothing short of snore-inducing, is out first. Magnus is the champion, but he's had hardly any TV time. I'm pretty sure we saw him at the start more often than this. Let's see if they can have an interesting match. The last one wasn't very good. They fight in the crowd again, but only for a second. Unfortunately, it seems pretty quickly that this is the same match as last time. Morgan hurts his leg as he does a leg drop on the ring apron. Magnus then works his leg for what seems like forever. Morgan surprisingly kicks out of the top rope elbow drop. It looks like this might not be the night for Magnus. Morgan then hits the chokeslam and goes for the carbon footprint, but Random Dudes Extreme run out for the DQ. Bulldog Hart and Chavo try to make the save, but they get beaten down. Mahabali Shera then runs out and takes out all 4 men by himself. He's doing quite well, but then the Indian Big Boss Man runs out and hits him with his nightstick. A homeless man then enters the ring and steals the nightstick and beats up all the guys in Random Dudes Extreme. What an anti-hero this man is. Jazzy Lahoria then gets on the mic to hype the cage match. Then the show ends. I almost fell asleep. Episode 3 starts out with a Cruiserweight match. It's Jimmy Don't Let Him Near a Mic Rave.
It's Jimmy Rave, and I'm ready to get this match over with so we can party! Woo!
And he's taking on the fake Hulk Hogan, who is actually pretty good, and he's also facing Zima Ion. Jimmy Rave cripples the Birdman on the ring apron, and then Zima Ion flies over the top rope onto both men. Zima Ion then hits a drop kick, and then the Birdman jumps off the top rope with a Hurricanrana. Zima throws the Hawk off the top rope and then hits a 450 on Jimmy Rave for the win. I asked this in the last video, but no one seems to know the answer, so I'll ask again. Where is this fake Hawk nowadays? I actually thought he was decent and had a bit of a future. Sanjay Dutt then comes out wearing his stupid golden wings. I have no idea why he's wearing them, he looks so stupid. Jazzy Lahoria is backstage talking tactics, but the homeless man is there and he seems like he's on their team now. He stays away from the others because he smells. Does Jazzy realise that 2 of the men in the ring that he's ranting at don't even speak Hindi? Oh, for God's sake, it's the Adonis Lock Challenge now. I thought this was over. It's not happened for ages. They bring in a scruffy looking guy from the audience, but he doesn't last 5 seconds. This is the most drawn out thing I've ever seen. We all know that eventually Mahabali Shera is going to break the lock. Adonis then puts one of the cameramen in the Adonis lock. Adonis then says that he accepts Mahabali Shera's challenge to a match. Backstage, Random Dudes Extreme are talking about some arm wrestling tournament that's going to happen. Steiner says that he's 92-0 in arm wrestling. I don't reckon he's lying about this. Apparently, if any of these guys lose, Jeff Jarrett will have to arm wrestle Jazzy Lahoria. How is that a punishment? He's almost crippled. It's an 8-man tag team match next. The Sheiks come out and they are the team of Sheikh Abdul Bashir and his son Arya Davari. They will be teaming with Dr. Nick Dinsmore and Safatio Vega because they made such a great team last time. They will be taking on the Bollywood boys and their banging theme music.
Make some noise for the Desi boys!
And the team of the 8-year-old obese Indian boy and the Leatherman. The Leatherman comes out with Angelin Love, so I guess you chose him over the midget. It's not a very good match, but my favourite part of this was the 8-year-old obese Indian boy getting the hot tag and running wild on everyone. And then he was clotheslining people and then falling over. He then tries to hit a crossbody, but just kind of slops into both men. The boy has the match won, but Raisha Saeed distracts the referee. The Sheiks then steal the pin, so the boy loses again. and he looks like he's dumping in his nappy. I'm pretty sure he's the only man on this show who's not won a single match. Raisha Saeed and Angelina love them brawl in the ring. Random Dudes Extreme are out next for their arm wrestling tournament. They bring out Bulldog Hart and Mahabali Shera, who will be competing against them. Scott Steiner is up first against Bulldog Hart. Man, this is going to be great. Steiner wins. It was never in doubt really, was it? Although a bit anticlimactic, nothing really happened. Magnus is up next to take on Vera. Magnus stalls for ages. This is probably the only sort of match that Vera has a chance of winning at. And I'm right. Vera actually beats Magnus here. This means that Jazzy Lahoria and Jeff Jarrett will now need to arm wrestle in the final round. Jarrett is also stalling forever and doesn't seem like he wants to wrestle Jazzy Lahoria. Once they get down to brass tacks, Jarrett's about to lose, so then Steiner gets on the ring apron and distracts the referee. Sanjay Dutt then tips water into Jeff's mouth, who then spits it into Jazzy's face. Jarrett wins the arm wrestling match. Why didn't Sanjay just throw the water at Jazzy's face himself? So Random Dudes Extreme win, and they'll now have the man advantage in the Lethal Lockdown cage match. They all fight afterwards because they don't like each other very much, and then the show ends. Last episode we're going to be looking at today, and it starts out with everybody's favourite, Joey Ryan and Nunzio. They're taking on, yes, the fake Indian strongmen from Family Guy. This music gets me every time, it's just a load of car horns beeping. These two are just weird. I have no earthly idea what they're meant to be doing. They do their battering ram thing and take out Nunzio and Joey Ryan. They then hit a double suplex on Joey Ryan and they pin him. When was the last time anyone was pinned with such a basic move like a double suplex? I guess it's old school. We've become too accustomed to watching a million flashy moves to end a match. Not in Ring King, my friends. Random Dudes Extreme are backstage getting a pep talk from Jarrett ahead of their cage match. Sanjay Dutt starts trying to hype them up like it's Vince McMahon before Survivor Series 2001. The other team also gets a pep talk from Jazzy Lahoria, but they all seem like they still want to keep away from the homeless man because he stinks like 1,000-year-old onions mixed with sewerage. They then cut to the ring and there's hundreds of people trying to put the cage together. It was fully assembled on the lorry, so it begs the question, why did they assemble it in the first place? Random Dudes will have the man advantage in this match because they won at arm wrestling on the last episode. This is going to be a lethal lockdown match, apart from it won't have weapons, so it's not as good. Sanjay Dutt will start out the match minus his golden wings. By the way, I posted this on my Insta on Sunday, but I actually found some golden wings for sale for £600 in Cadbury's. So if anyone wants to be just like your hero Sanjay Dutt, go get them. Eddie's nephew will be starting the match for the good guys. Imagine if he turned heel or did something interesting. Sanjay Dutt tries to jump him from the top, but Chavo flattens him with a dropkick. He then does the Three Amigos because he's Eddie's nephew, so of course he does. This is when I realised that it's such a long time between the next wrestler coming out. I think it's been about 5-minute intervals. The next wrestler is Scott Steiner, and he takes out Chavo with ease. Bulldog Hart then comes out. I swear that interval was about 1 minute. It's inconsistent. Bulldog Hart kicks them both and then Magnus comes out. That felt like even less time. What's the big deal of having a man advantage if you only have the advantage for about 30 seconds? Matt Boring is out next and he throws Sanjay Dutt face first into the cage. The Indian Big Boss Man is out next and he gets beaten up straight away. Mahabali Shera is out next and he takes out all the bad guys himself. The crowd are loving this guy and they're chanting his name. Chavo then climbs up to the top of the cage and dives onto everyone for the high spot of the match. The Idiot Abyss is out next and he throws Matt Morgan into the cage door, which then bursts open. That only leaves one man left. They've truly saved the best until last as the homeless man comes out. On his way to the ring, Jarrett starts talking to him and then he offers him a load of money to change sides. You could buy a week in a hostel with that sort of money, lad. I would do it if I were you. Why does Jarrett even want him anyway? What's he done to prove himself? They then padlock the cage doors shut. Have you ever seen such a big padlock? Where did they even get that from? It looks ridiculous. You know, I was just thinking, why is every TNA Power Struggle storyline settled in a lethal lockdown match? Everybody starts hitting their finishers. Jarrett has knocked down Jazzy Lahoria on the outside and attacks him with his walking stick. Jarrett then tries to throw something into the cage but he misses. It's a bunch of handcuffs and they handcuff all the good guys to the cage. Jarrett then throws the walking stick into the cage and then they hit the homeless man with it. The Big Boss Man then starts dishing out some hard time and then he pins the homeless man for the free. So I was completely right then, this guy is worthless. Maybe if he'd got in the cage match and actually done something, it might have helped elevate this guy. But he's just gone into the match and been beaten down and been the one that got pinned. Why couldn't it be Chavo or someone else? So Jarrett now owns Rinka King or something like that. This has really turned into the Jeff Jarrett show since he's turned up. I'm surprised he's not been wrestling in matches yet. So that's 4 episodes this time. We saw a few guys wrestle who haven't had matches before. I don't think anyone particularly embarrassed themselves except for one little boy. They make sure that all the Indian guys don't attempt to do anything that they could mess up. They just do clotheslines and kicks. You all thought Mahabali Shera was limited in green when he turned up in TNA. Well, believe me, he's the best of a bad bunch. Imagine if TNA had tried to push the Indian big boss man or the homeless man. Trust me, we got off light with Shira. Anyway, I always enjoy reviewing these shows, so I'm going to review it all the way through. So if you enjoyed this video, subscribe and join the Shove It crew.